Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Friday. I hope that work week's in the rearview mirror. If it's not, we will get you to the finish line on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Got Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos, and plenty to do on this Friday. Got Preston Guy coming up here in 15 minutes. The NFL has set its salary cap. Garrett Nussmeier has talked about his injury in a little bit more depth at the NFL Combine. LSU's got 4 baseball games between now and Monday, so we got a lot to get to. Let's crank it up the way we do every single day with our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive. Presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
Welcome to the doldrums of the baseball season. This is the toughest stretch for baseball fans from a college perspective. The newness has worn off a little bit. The tournament, quote unquote, is in the rearview mirror. Now you've got 2 weeks of non-conference action against overmatched opponents before you get into the throes of conference play. And that's tough for fans. I think the players will be fine, but it's a bit of a tough time for fans to lock in a little bit. And this weekend, you've got Dartmouth coming in, you've got Northeastern coming in, and that's just not going to register for a lot of people. And so the question becomes like, what are we in this for? And I've taken a look at both of these teams and certainly have watched LSU play every game that they've played thus far. And I do have some thoughts. First of all, like, who are they playing this week? Dartmouth is in the Ivy League, obviously, and they don't play on week 1. So Dartmouth started their season last weekend. They've only played 3 games. They come in having beaten Fairleigh Dickinson on opening day. They scored 4 in the 8th inning and 1 in the 9th to win 7-6 on opening day. Then they lost their next 2 games to Gardner-Webb and then to Fairleigh Dickinson. So they come in here 1-2, having played no competition. Northeastern comes in with a really solid program. Northeastern was 48-9 entering the regional last year. 48-9. They've made 3 regionals in the last 5 years. Last season, they had 6 MLB draft picks. Remember, it's not a 40-round draft anymore. It's only 20 rounds. They had 6 guys drafted. So it's a good program. This team might stink. I think there's a real chance they stink. They have been outscored 83-27 in 6 games this year. They're 0-6. In 5 of their 6 games, they've allowed 10-plus runs. Minnesota, the Golden Gophers, run-ruled them on Saturday and Sunday of last week. So their team ERA is 15. It's not looking good for Northeastern, who has, again, had a good program. I like this team on the schedule for Jay Johnson. This is a team that you look at and generally think you're going to win a lot of games, may help your RPI as much as a non-conference game can help your RPI. It may not. These 2 teams are way, way below LSU's level. I think they're way, way below Milwaukee's level. I think they're way, way below Kent State's level, and certainly the team LSU played last week. This is a significant step down in competition for LSU. So what are we looking for? And my answer to that question is very simple. It's asking a lot, and it potentially is asking too much, but I'm asking for it. I need Casey Evans to go out there tonight and dominate Dartmouth. Dominate. I want 6 innings, 1 or 0 runs. I want 10 or 11 strikeouts. I want 1 or 0 walks. I want it to look like an ace. That's what I want. I've talked a lot about this for 3 weeks now, and it might be unfair, and it's certainly not fully trusting a coaching staff that has coached pitchers exceptionally well. I should just lean on that track record, right? They got Cade Anderson right. They got Anthony Ianson right. They got Chase Shores right. They got Gage Jump right coming off of injury. They got Luke Holman right. They got Griffin Herring right. Jay Johnson was here when Ty Floyd made rapid improvements. This staff, Nate Yeske for the last 2 years and Jay Johnson over his time, they have gotten really good stuff out of pitchers. Even in the most crucial times, Thatcher Hurd came through. He came through in Game 3 of the championship series. He came through in the regional in Chapel Hill. they've gotten great stuff out of great pitchers. And so trusting in that track record would make sense, but I'm nervous. I'm nervous about it. I want Kason Evans to be a legit ace at the front of LSU's staff. I want him to look like Cade Anderson. I want him to look like Gage Jump. I'm not going to throw Skeens in there, okay? But I want him to look like Alex Lang. I want him to look like the alphas that LSU has put out there over the course of the last 15 years. He didn't have to be the 6th pick in the draft. I'd like him to be the 6th pick in the draft, but I want him to look like Gosman. And those guys in this spot go out there, 2 starts under their belt, and dominate. Dartmouth's not any good. They lost to Fairleigh Dickinson and some other team I don't even know. Gardner-Webb. Hyphenated universities. I want Kason Evans to go out there and stuff them in a locker. That would make me feel better. And he's capable of doing it. I watched him last year out of the bullpen, but watched him take Little Rock and put him in a blender. He struck out 9 guys in a row. It's in there. I'm not asking for something that's not there. But as I talked about on Monday of this week, and I'm not coming off this, when I sit here and I talk about this baseball program in October, and I talk about this baseball program in January, and then we get into the early season for this team and this program, I am grading on a championship curve. That's the scale here. And it's awesome, but it can at times feel unreasonable. Maybe I'm being unreasonable. I don't know. You be the judge of that. But I want him to go out there with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, a plus changeup, a curveball that he's been working on, a slider, and just carve up Dartmouth. That's what I want to see. Cooper Moore did it opening weekend in Milwaukee. They couldn't hit the changeup. He struck out 11. Last week, William Schmidt hung 5 zeros. Was it an artwork? I don't know about that, but he hung 5 zeros. And Kason Evans got him up and down in order 3 of the 5 innings last week. And he hung 4 zeros. But they squared him up a couple times. I want him to be awesome tonight. That is what I'm looking for. I believe fully. I understand how the sport works. I watched Tuesday's game. Trust me, I get the whole deal. I think LSU's going to win all 4 games this weekend because I don't think these 2 teams are any good. But it's about how you play. It's about what it looks like. And I will give you a pass on opening day. Cade Anderson didn't have his best stuff on opening day last year. We interviewed him in the press conference after the game, and he was kind of ticked off. So I get it. And I'm not asking for your best every single day. But I do want to see the ace come out. Because when we talk about grading on that championship curve, I don't think LSU is going to go win a national championship. And that's what we're talking about here, right? I don't think they're going to go win a national championship if you've got an iffy guy at the front of your rotation. One, it's going to put you behind the 8 ball in SEC series. Think of the great LSU teams and the success that they've had on Friday nights in the SEC. It just sets you up. And you're facing first-round picks a lot in those games. You're facing MLB pitchers a lot in that first game. And Kason Evans has the ability to do that. But I would grade his first 2 starts of this season at like a C. I need an A tonight. I need an A performance. Because you're facing an Ivy League team. And so that is what I'm looking for first and foremost this weekend. Bounce back from Cooper Moore as well, and then let's build on that with William Schmidt. That's what I told you on Monday with Schmidt. I said, look, I like that. I like the outing. Thought it was a good outing. There are still some big misses, but I see the things that I want to see stuff-wise. Now it's time to hone them. And the thing that I told you about William Schmidt in January, when I talked about him a few times and talked about the outing that he had right before the season started where he struck out 11, it was an inter-squad, but he struck out 11. I think one of the biggest keys for William Schmidt, this is just my speculation. I don't know William, never spoken to William. I don't think I've even interviewed William Schmidt. Maybe I have, but I don't remember it. This is just a thought. And it all stems from that SEC stat from last year where he walked 11 guys in 2 SEC innings. That is a mental thing to me. That's a mental thing to me. And how do you cure a mental issue? Confidence. Confidence does it. Where does confidence come from? Performance. And these are the weeks of the season where you can perform to a level that gives you the confidence. Because when William Schmidt figures this thing out, it's going to be trouble for other teams. because that fastball's not coming down from 97, and that breaking ball is real. So if you're going to go out there and he's facing Dartmouth as well, Jay Johnson hasn't announced his pitching plans, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's going to keep it the same. He has not announced his pitching plans beyond Case and Evans because he hasn't gotten the information from Northeastern, and he's just not going to be the first coach to turn in his lineup card. He's going to do that at the same time. So my strong assumption is that you'll see the same rotation, Evans, Moore, Schmidt. But I think you'll see Schmidt on Sunday against Dartmouth. And I want to see him bouncing around the mound. I want to see him spinning that thing. I want to see him blowing it by guys at the letters. And that is the key to this weekend. Your two most talented starting pitchers, the two guys who I think are the key to unlock this team. Those two guys are facing an Ivy League school that's played 3 games and lost 2 of them to Fairleigh Dickinson and Gardner-Webb. It's time for those two guys to combine to go 12 or 13 innings, strike out 20, and give up 1 combined run. I realize, I hear myself saying it. I know that's a lot to ask, but I'm asking a lot. I'm okay asking a lot. Just because you dominate Dartmouth doesn't mean that you're going to dominate Vanderbilt on opening weekend in 3 weeks. But if Case and Evans goes out there today and he goes 4 2/3 and walks 3 and gives up a 3 spot in the second, I'm going to come on here on Monday and be like, I'm not sure this is the deal. That is what I'm going to do. Because I didn't love everything I saw in January. I haven't loved everything I've seen early on. But that is not to suggest it's not in there, because I have seen that in the past. It's time for it to come out. I love the talent. I do trust the coaching staff. I want to see it. And I realize that might sound spoiled, and it might sound unreasonable and unrealistic, and I get it, but I'm not coming off the standard at LSU here. There's a standard at LSU. And it looks like all the guys I rattled off. It looks like Cade Anderson. It looks like Paul Skeens. It looks like Alex Lang. It looks like Aaron Nola. It looks like Kevin Gaussman. That's what it looks like. Gage Jump's about to make the big leagues. I want to see that type of thing from Case and Evans this weekend. That's the key. We'll talk offense later on in the show. We've got more time. But the pitching this weekend has got all of my focus. I don't really care what the offense does against a Northeastern team who comes in here with a team ERA of 15. They got run ruled twice by Minnesota. That's not of my concern. Well, if my concern is these pitchers controlling the zone and dominating overmatched teams. That's the weekend to me. That's it in a nutshell. My Friday show is brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Preston Guy talking football next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Gotros Outdoor Power. Gotros Outdoor Power. You can find them online at gotrosonline.com. They're family-owned and operated, 22 years in business, Baton Rouge and Gonzales. And you think family-owned and operated, and maybe your mind goes to small. They're not small. Gotros has the largest parts inventory in Louisiana. They are the largest hustler inventory in the state by far. So if you're looking for a zero turn, check out my friends at Gotros Outdoor Power. You can find them online at gotrosonline.com. Just stop by on Airline Highway. If you're driving down Airline Highway and you see that mountain of orange equipment, that's them, Gotros Outdoor Power. Of course, if you're in Gonzales, you know where they are as well. It's time for that grass to start growing. Time for you to start cutting that grass. They can get you behind the wheel of a Hustler mower for less than $100. Financing is available, and you get unbelievable customer service with a family-owned and operated company at Gotros Outdoor Power. Check them out online, gotrosonline.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Lockmeyer to Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Friday shows brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. The whole menu online at corksfishandshrimp.com, corksfishandshrimp.com. Talk some more baseball a little bit later on as well. But now it's football time. Preston Guy, TigerBait.com with us on Fridays talking Tiger football. Joins us now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Preston, how are you?
Fine. How's it going?
Going good. How has you got an eye on the combine?
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on it. I know Nussmeier's quote today really is making its way rounds through the Twitterverse, and I don't think it's necessarily anything surprising, particularly to come from Garrett Nussmeier, who would stand a lot to gain from saying, hey, I had an injury all year, and that's what affected my performance, because then it's an injury issue and not a regression issue, which an injury issue, well, you know, time heals injuries, but regressions may not be just healed by time. So, you know, certainly he has, you know, an active agenda to get that out there. And I think that anybody with two eyes could tell he wasn't right physically this year. So definitely that's making its way around. Yeah, I'm always just keeping it a brief. I try not to overreact at the combine. I feel like combine reactions are, you know, how you end up taking, you know, a fourth or fifth rounder in the first round.
So let's talk about Nussmeier a little bit more, because we were out there at practice and we knew that he, you know, potentially gotten hurt in a practice. The internet went nuts, and then we saw him not throw. And my antennas went up when he didn't throw, but I don't remember watching him during August practices and going, he's hurt. Did you feel that way?
You know, I remember being concerned that the offense wasn't moving right, but I just had so much confidence. It's like, as long as Nussmeier's healthy, we've seen what he's able to do, and his defense does look better. I mean, I was definitely on alert, particularly that Saturday scrimmage. I think it was actually like Saturday night or late afternoon in Tiger Stadium when Nussmeier didn't throw at all, not even a little bit. I was certainly a little alert about that, but then I'm like, well, he's a fifth-year senior, and, you know, he had that little knee banged up. Maybe they just don't want to work him too high because, frankly, he doesn't need the reps. But we probably should have been more alert in retrospect.
Do you think it would have looked different if he was fully healthy?
Well, I mean, of course.
Okay.
I mean, look, here's the deal, man. I mean, you can talk about all the other issues. Certainly he wasn't reading the field his best, and there were other issues as well, but you can tell physically he just didn't have the gun he had a year ago, and there were a lot of throws that needed to happen more consistently. I mean, I think about the Barryon Brown underthrow against Louisiana Tech, where it's just like, my God, that's a wide open touchdown. You just underthrew him by 15 yards, right? Or against Ole Miss, there's a couple throws where he's barely able to engage his core. It's interesting to see how this season would have gone had he had been fully healthy. There's a strong argument that maybe Brian Kelly is still the head football coach of LSU if he's fully healthy. But I will argue till I'm blue in the face that great football coaches have backup options. Players get hurt. That's part of football. You need to have a backup plan. And clearly, they didn't have a good one in Michael Van Buren. And I think, frankly, they should have turned to Michael Van Buren a lot sooner, even though he wasn't very good last year. I think it was fairly obvious to me that at least he had the physical tools to move the offense the way you needed to with the playmakers in place, right? You kind of waited until there was zero stakes left to make that move. But no backup plan that was ready to go for coaches. It was Nussmeier or bust, and they went with the or bust option.
It certainly was a bust. It appears that Harold Perkins is not going to work out at the Combine. Does that surprise you a little bit?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit, because it's not like the tape is magnificent. You know what I mean? It's not like there's just this crazy body of work, right? It's the physical tools. That, to me, screams that something about his out-of-Combine tests were not as impressive as they would have liked to, and means that they know his stock's only going to go down if he doesn't do it. So, yeah, little surprised to see that out of Harold Perkins.
Is there a player that you're curious about their draft stakes that's up in Indianapolis? There's 11 guys up there right now. Is there somebody outside of we talked about Perkins, who I think is a wild card. Nussmeier, because he's a quarterback, is a bit of a wild card too. Is there anybody else you kind of got eyes on?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think the obvious answer is indeed Garrett Nussmeier, because there's a lot of people who look at the 2024 tape and still feel like, well, that was a NFL player, right? And then this year, he didn't look like someone who should be drafted. So I think there's going to be a lot of variance. And I think this being a weaker quarterback class really does enable him to be a guy who's drafted in a spot where, maybe he's able to work I don't think anybody's going to draft Garrett Nussmeier with the plan of he's our starter next year, right? But maybe that gives him at least a high enough draft pick to be considered valuable enough to earn a roster spot and work his way, right? Because if you're on a 53-man, at least you got a fighting chance, right? But I would argue maybe some of these receivers, like I'm looking at like a guy like maybe Chris Hilton, who did effectively, nothing during his career at LSU. I mean, certainly compared to his own expectations. And we can talk about all the excuses in the world, and probably the best excuse he's had is, well, everybody was a victim of this offense this year at LSU. But, the measurables are still there. He participated in all 4 Senior Bowl events, and had a good showing as he worked his way up and get a draft spot. We'll see.
I'm curious to see what he runs, because I think there's a possibility he could be the low 40 for anybody at the Combine if he runs it the way that he can, and that's always going to be loud at some point if you show you're the fastest guy in the draft class. So we'll see. I'm curious about that as well. Let's shift over to recruiting, Preston, if we could. I know a lot's being made about Easton Royal. How do you feel like LSU potentially stacks up there? He's pledged to Texas, but LSU's certainly not given up. What do you think about LSU's opportunity there?
Yeah, worth noting, his Texas commitment came during the previous coaching administration, right? Easton Royal, I mean, he's every bit of a good prospect, every bit of his 5-star rating, and money's going to be an issue here. And my ultimate thing is certainly, being the hometown team, LSU has a good in with him. Warren Easton is, not far from campus. LSU's all too familiar with Warren Easton. And I think it's going to come down to a lot of, can LSU match the NIL offer from Texas? And not only can they, do they have the will to? Because this coaching staff, during their tenure at Ole Miss, their philosophy was, look, we're going to recruit high school, but we're going to pay for the portal. It doesn't make sense to put money on the table for a kid who's played high school football when you can get it to someone who's had college reps and shown you on the college level what they're capable of. Well, that's that old myth where the high school recruiting isn't as elite. In fact, there are 5 players in the top 15 of the Rivals ratings right now that are originally from Louisiana. I mean, that's a lot of that's 1/3 of the top 15 players in the country. It's insane, right? That's a lot of in-state talent that fans don't take well to here at LSU when you've got a 5-star guy from Louisiana, and it's almost like a shot at LSU. It's disrespectful to leave the state and go somewhere else. And I don't think fans are going to sit around nicely. Right now, you've got none of those 5 guys committed, but you got to make some headway in some of them. You can't go 0 for 5 and keep the fan base happy this year. I think they're going to have to throw some money at that.
I would suggest this is probably an unanswerable question, like to know for sure, but I'm curious your opinion. Like, is it sustainable to go sign 40 kids a year and spend as much money as LSU did this year in the portal? Is that something you can do every year?
40 kids in the portal or 40 kids total? There's a big distinction there.
Well, to do what they just did, an overhaul with 40 kids from the portal and be the number 1 portal class and spend however much money they just spent.
Yeah, I don't think you can bring in 40 portal players a year and build a consistent winning program. I mean, you're constantly going to be, throwing in new starters. You're going to have a whole new top to bottom. Ideally, you're doing things with your NIL structure that makes, some multi-year deals, right? And you're able to coach this team up, and you're not just talking about re-rolling the dice with a whole new roster every single year. Now, if you ask me 40 total players, meaning high school and portal, that's probably the future if I had to guess. I mean, and there are certain programs who've done an outstanding job with maintaining their roster together, but I think 20 combined is probably going to be the new normal, especially as you move into a 105 scholarship limit roster, right? We're going to be having a lot more and more conversations about adding that. And, it's 40% of your roster or 38% of your roster. If you do the averages there, that's not too far off from 1/3 of your roster and a player stays for 3 years. You get what I'm saying, right? Like, it's not that outlandish to say it's 40 total the new. I think 40 in the transfer portal plus whatever you get in high school, that's unsustainable in my opinion.
I would tend to agree with that as well. Last one, Preston. We don't know much of anything about Labor Day weekend at this point, but are you a little surprised that LSU came out in an early line and it's an 11.5-point favorite over Clemson? That seems like a lot.
Yeah, that's a huge number. I mean, that's big. But I was talking about it. I filled in for Scarborough's show this week. And, the thing is I still like LSU minus that colossal number. Just look at Clemson. What is there to believe in at Clemson? Just looking at it. I mean, they're replacing the quarterback, and their offense was completely anemic. They did not go to the portal and pull offensive guys. I mean, Dabo's kind of the most stubborn coach in college football when it comes to I'm going to win it the way I want it with Deshaun Watson in 2016, right? Just has not made the adjustments and adaptations, right? I mean, I think he took, 10, 11 players in the portal, and 7 or 8 of them were on defense. So that I don't know what is there to necessarily entice you. They're losing guys on the defensive line, including Stephylin Green, who's going to be playing for LSU. I would probably take LSU minus 13.5. I think that, I know that's not necessarily the way Vegas looks at these things, but I mean, based on what I'm seeing, I'm fine saying LSU's a 2-touchdown favorite over Clemson. That doesn't concern me.
That place is going to be an absolute madhouse for that football game. It's going to be something, but we got a few baseball games to watch before we get to that. Preston, we appreciate the time. Have a great weekend, man.
All right, talk to you soon.
Preston Guy, TigerBait.com, talking a little bit of football. When we come back, every year, the NFLPA puts together team report cards, and they blast them out so we can make fun of a lot of teams. Well, they had a little bit of a tiff and decided they weren't going to release the grades, and so they didn't this year until somebody got them. I got the Saints. We'll talk about it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust started up in 1910, still here 116 years later, and they've grown 25 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana. What does that mean? Well, that means there's always one near you if you're in Southeast Louisiana. It also means that all of their decisions are made. Your commercial loan, your personal loan, all their decisions are made in Southeast Louisiana. You don't get some call center or you get somebody out in Seattle. You get somebody right here at home. The people who make the decisions on your commercial loan, the people that make the decision on your personal loan, go to church with you. Their kids are playing with your kids on the T-ball team. And the community feel that they've cultivated there at First American Bank and Trust is real. That's why their management averages 25 years with the bank. First American Bank and Trust, no matter if you're in St. Tammany, Tangipahoa, St. John, Lafourche, Terrebonne, if you're in Southeast Louisiana, there's a First American Bank and Trust near you. Trust them with your commercial loan. Trust them with your personal loan. It's First American Bank and Trust.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
I've been in banking for over 35 years. I usually start about 7:30 in the morning, and I usually leave somewhere around 5, or if customers need me to meet them at their house or their business places, I don't mind going after hours. I have done churches, subdivisions, retail centers, hospitals, and nursing homes. And that's why we chose to live in this community, because of the values First American Bank has, that I can serve my community and my customers.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Lockmere to Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades, but our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lockmere to Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
March Madness is heading to Las Vegas, and LouisianaSports.net is sending one of you plus a friend with it. We're giving away a 3-night Las Vegas getaway from Wednesday, March 18th through Saturday, March 21st, just in time for all the madness. Hotel stay and flights are covered. All you have to do to enter is head to LouisianaSports.net, click the March Madness getaway link, sign up now before our March Madness Pick'em launches. Get yourself entered, and you could be watching the tournament from Las Vegas instead of your couch. Winners will be announced Monday, March 2nd.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. FabryChevrolet.com is the website. It's still February, right? It's the 27th. We got one more day in February. If you want great savings on a new truck, you need to go to Fabry Chevrolet GMC today or tomorrow, because you're talking about up to $11,000 off Chevy Silverados, 1.9 APR financing. You're talking about up to $13,000 off a GMC Sierra. 0.0 APR financing. It doesn't get any lower than 0.0. There's all in the lot there. Highway 61 in St. Francisville. You know you're going to get an amazing buying experience with the Fabry's. You know you're going to get great service after the sale. They've been in Baton Rouge for about 3.5 decades, 35 years. Fabry Chevrolet. Check out the entire inventory online at FabryChevrolet.com. Make that short drive to St. Francisville. I'm going to St. Francisville tomorrow, but I'm not really looking for a truck at the moment. Maybe you are. That means there's more for you. Check them out online at FabryChevrolet.com. All right, every year, the NFL Players Association puts together a survey and grades for each franchise. And every year, we get the results. And sometimes we point and laugh at that team or that owner or that facility or that coach, whatever the case may be, because the grades are funny. They're anonymous and they come through voting. And so you just get a sense, on the record, how players feel about different organizations. And I've been fascinated in listening to Jake and Flynn talk about the organizations that they played through the years, played for through the years. You hear Flynn just glow about the Packers. Oakland, not so much. Hester loves the Chargers, loves them, but he calls them the Bush League Bolts because their organization was not great, and he saw the light when he went to Denver there at the end because that is run magnificently. And it's just fascinating that there is that much range in how the organizations operate. And so we looked at that every single year, and the NFL looked at it and went, you know what? We don't really need everyone pointing and laughing at our organizations. Let's keep these confidential. And they did, briefly, because they've been reported now, so we've got access to the information, even though they didn't want us to. So how do the Saints rank? So I'll tell you, in 2024, overall, the Saints ranked 10th. In 2025, overall, the Saints ranked 12th. This year, they split the difference, 11th. But there was some movement in what I call some interesting spots. First of all, the thing that we always make fun of in the Saints that's completely irrelevant to us, but certainly relevant to the players, the food and dining. Jordan, we talked about this.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
New Orleans, they got an F in 2024 and a D- in 2025.
That's ridiculous.
So they spent a bunch of money on it. A- this year.
Hey man, look, I give Gail her credit where it's due. That's improvements. Like we've seen the other teams. Like I think.
Get an F?
Yeah, no, forget F. I've seen you saw the Bengals. It was an F-. It was an F-.
What does that mean? Zero?
That means
that's a zero. What are they giving out? Lunchables?
Lunchables? No, they're giving out dog food. Lunchables. Come on now.
So the Saints moved up to an A-. That's good, but it doesn't really impact the fans. I think there are a couple of these moves though that you should feel good about as a Saints fan. Head coach with Dennis Allen, the last 2 years, 24 and 25, B-.
What?
That's not a great grade, if we're being honest.
Oh,
B-.
For Dennis Allen, a B-.
Maybe some of the defensive guys had his back. Maybe some of the offensive guys didn't spend any time around him. Who knows? But he got a B-.
B-.
This year, Kellen Moore, A-. And that's his first year. You figure he probably learned something on the job. That's good. And defensive coordinator. Okay. I love this. A for Brandon Staley.
Staley, the man.
I want him to stick around a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, here's the hope with Staley. The hope is that he was so bad with the Chargers, which their record wasn't that bad, but that he was so bad with all that talent with the Chargers that nobody really wants him for a while. Because Kellen's got his side of the ball, and he's going to handle that, and you need a strong personality on the other side. And I think the players really like Staley, and the results down the stretch, I know the competition, I know the quarterbacks. I watched it just like you did. But still, it's the National Football League, and it wasn't like the Saints were trotting out 6 Pro Bowlers on defense.
Yeah.
And they were good. So I like Staley getting that grade there. That was awesome. As far as offensive coordinator goes, I guess this is Doug Nussmeier, kind of Kellen Moore too, but I guess it's Doug Nussmeier's grade. B- there. That's not super awesome. But I think Kellen's kind of driving that bus as well. What do you think the general manager got for the Saints?
The general manager, Mickey Loomis, man. Well, the players voted on it. I think the players kind of like Mickey, man. I don't know. I just feel if Kellen got an A-, right?
Yes.
Kellen got an A-. I mean, Mickey probably got an A.
He got a B.
A B? Okay.
He got a B. The Saints only got 1 C and nothing lower than a C. And the C makes a lot of sense, and there's nothing they can do about it, really. It's the home game field, and I believe that's the actual surface they're
turf,
playing on.
The turf, yeah,
they play
like
inside.
Yeah,
okay, the Saints are not going to play. The Saints are going to play in a dome forever and ever, amen.
Yeah.
Because you can't play in September at noon.
Ridiculous.
You'll melt, and nobody will go. So they got to play in a dome, and people don't like turf. It just is what it is. The players don't like turf, and so you got to see. But everything else was above board on that. The one Like, so at this point, like, B is kind of the low points of the grade, and that's locker room is a B, and then treatment of families got a B, and that seems like it's not great. But 2024 treatment of families got a D+.
Oh, Lord.
And then 2025 it got a C, and now they're up to a B. So it seems like
progress.
This is going well, and maybe it's because this comes out. Maybe it's because it's public, or maybe it's because Gail saw it and like, oh, I need to whip this thing into shape. But like, the grades are pretty good, and you're talking about rating 11th. I think that's pretty good.
Well, no, I definitely believe that the owners are see these grades and are making changes, because that's one of my ticket to leave is today. A team actually is making a change because of one of the grades they got. So y'all stick tuned for that. But also, a big deal what I was talking about earlier was the Bengals. They have an F- in cafeteria. It was a D last year, so it got worse. So I mean, that means Mike Brown, the owner of the Bengals, they saw that grade, was like, you know what? Y'all didn't like those Lunchables? Dog food.
There's just no excuse for that. These are multi-billion-dollar entities.
Yes.
Staff a cafeteria and put out some good food. These guys spend countless hours there.
Pretty much all day.
Make it good. It's ridiculous. But the Saints got an A or better in food and dining, training room, training staff, weight room, strength coaches, team travel, head coach, ownership, defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator. And again, the worst grade they got was a C in home game field. But they've basically stayed steady in this list, and that included when they thought you had the worst food and dining in the league and you hated the head coach. So this is good vibes with the Saints. I'm feeling good about the Saints. I think Saints fans are feeling good about the Saints. It just feels good to talk about some good things with the Saints. That was a brutal 2 years, and now we would bring Sharif on every week and we bring Luke on every week, and like, I didn't enjoy those conversations. And look, there's no guarantee that you're not going back to that. You could fall backwards. It's happened. Washington thought it had its head above water. Next great generation with Jane Daniels, and all of a sudden he got hurt and they fell out. The bottom fell out there. Like, it can happen that way. And we thought the Lions were set up to be awesome for a long time, and they didn't have a great year this year with a very difficult schedule. So there's no guarantees in this thing, but it just feels like things are pointed in the right direction, and it's the time of hope. It's the year. It's the time of year where hope's going to spring eternal. You're looking at all these draft prospects. You're looking at mock drafts. You're looking at the salary cap. You're looking at free agents, and nobody's losing games right now. So the vibes are good. But this is encouraging because look, for the first time in a while, over the next 2 off seasons, the Saints will actually be able to court decent free agents that have options. It's not just a bargain basement. So you want your facilities, you want your players to feel like they can talk up the organization when you're courting free agents. And that really hasn't mattered too much for the Saints for the past 10 years because they can't sign any free agents because they don't have any money. We're going to talk about the salary cap in hour 2 because they just released what it's going to be. Newsflash, the Saints are going to have some spending ability because they've moved the cap up, and that's the way things always go. But it's over $300 million now, and the Saints aren't that far over, and they can restructure some deals to get to it. So now you take this good grades that the players have given the Saints, and now you've got an opportunity to court some free agents over the next 2 years, and that's where you hopefully can help transform your team.
Nah, man, it's beautiful because it actually feels kind of weird that I'm so excited for the Saints because I don't think I've ever been this excited recently since maybe Derek Carr stopped the murder rate from going up a couple years back when he was 2-0.
2-0.
Yeah, it was 2-0.
It was a great 2 years. We just lost Louisianasports.net.
Literally.
And Matt wrote a column like, I haven't had this much fun watching the Saints forever. And then for 2 years after that week, it was a disaster.
Exactly. So it's like you would have.
They were damn good for 2 weeks, though.
Hey, Hunt, I mean, people stopped dying. People had to watch the Saints. Like, it was that important that people had to watch the Saints. So that's how you know it's important down here. I feel good.
I know Dallas was week 2. Who'd they crush at home week 1? Carolina or the
Tennessee? I think it was Tennessee. I think it was Tennessee.
I know they went to the Dallas and beat the brakes off them. What a thing of beauty that was. All right. We'll come back and close out hour number 1 with some thoughts on last night in the PMAC. That's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Get that Generac home standby generator. It just gives you peace of mind. Peace of mind is a beautiful thing. And in this part of the world, power outages are coming. Because we've got storms, we've got hurricanes, we got bad drivers run over a power line. And then you're out of luck. Not to mention 7 months out of the year, it's blazing hot and you don't have an air conditioner. Unless you have a Generac home standby generator from the folks at Boudreaux's Electrical. Go with the locally owned and operated company. Neil and Melissa have been at this for 40 years. You can get a Generac generator from one of the big box stores, but what's the customer service going to look like on that? If you need a repair, if you need maintenance, well, it's non-existent. That's not the case at Boudreaux's. Call them at 985-397-1000. 985-397-1562. That's 985-397-1562. The Gonzales location, fairly new, just been open a couple years. They're 225-393-89. Call them and get that home standby generator put in today so you don't have to worry about losing your power when that next storm blows through. It's Boudreaux's Electrical. You can find them online at boudreauxelectrical.com.
Another roof gone too soon. Looks like neglect. There's no doubt about it. This is a case of poor installation. At Pelican Roofing, we don't guess. We investigate to find the real cause of your roof's problems. Call Pelican Roofing for your free roof investigation today. Case closed.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
The Cane's Box Combo, a symphony of flavors. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google, based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates, we know this, and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Friday show is brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Check them out. Government between Foster and Jefferson. Always time to get a late lunch here. It's a Lenten Friday. If you're observing and want a catfish plate, want a shrimp plate, those crispy shoestring fries, swing on by Corks. Delicious, delicious stuff over there at Corks. They're on Government between Foster and Jefferson. That entire menu is online at corksfishandshrimp.com. And also remember that February is Heart Month. Heart disease is the number one cause of death for men and women, but it can be preventable. Stay active, exercise, fruits, veggies, manage stress. Get enough sleep if you can. That's certainly a big, big deal. Avoid smoking, limit alcohol intake as well. Your primary care provider is your partner in prevention. They can help monitor your blood pressure, cholesterol, overall heart health. So get those regular checkups. Early detection and guidance can keep you on track for a healthy heart. Make your health a priority in Heart Month and schedule that primary care appointment at auctioner.org/brprimary. Small steps today can lead to a stronger heart tomorrow. You can check them out online at auctioner.org. Last night was senior night in the PMAC, and senior night has probably lost a little bit of luster these days because you play for 4 schools, you play for 3 schools, you play for a couple schools, you spend 1 year at a school. Like, what's your connection to that school, right? I'm not criticizing the portal. As I've said many, many times, like, I'm glad Paul Skeens showed up here. I'm glad Tommy White showed up here. Anthony Ianson, Jaden Daniels, Angel Reese. Like that, LSU has benefited from the transfer portal as much as any school in collegiate athletics, and that's great. But two things can be true. That's great for LSU, and senior day probably loses a little bit of its luster, right? But not last night, because Flau'jae Johnson had her senior day last night as LSU took on Tennessee, and it wasn't her best game, but I thought some of the things she had to say post-game were awesome, and that's someone who really and truly loves LSU. Really loves LSU. You talk to some of the guys that have played in one-year football guys, and maybe they love LSU, maybe they don't. But you don't have to question that with Flau'jae. 4 years, national champion, and as Kim said last night in the postgame, like, she's just all over the place on campus. And I'm not there on campus, but, like, this is something that stands out to me about having watched Flau'jae now for 4 years at one place. She just looks like she's having a good time. She looks like she's having a good time on the court. She looks like she's having a good time on camera. She looks like she's having a good time with her music. And she's a fun player to watch. And I think depending on what happens this year in the tournament, this could start to kind of shift a little bit from the Angel Reese era, because they have the title and she was the face of that team, to the Flau'jae era, right? Because, like, you think about teams in terms of eras. I think about Simone and Sylvia, right? Like, that was the 5 Final Fours. Like, they're the face of that. There were certainly other great players, Tamika Johnson. I mean, the list goes on and on. But that's the Simone and Sylvia era, right? And they've got their jerseys hung up. And I don't think Flau'jae is knocking on the door of getting her jersey hung up in the rafters, but she certainly was a big part to the national championship team and is now the face of the team this year. Michaela's great, and it's been a great year for Jada Richard, and Full Wiley's a heck of a talent, but this is Flau'jae's team, and she's got a chance. We've talked with Matthew Burney a few times to put a real stamp on a legacy here in March. You get back to a Final Four, you get to a championship game, you win a national championship, you win 2 national championships. Like, that's legendary stuff. And I just wanted to point out that in this era of transfer, she stuck it out. And she's just been a great ambassador to LSU. She is part of ushering in the NIL era. And LSU is a spot where we have seen spotlights just explode, men's and women's. Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, Paul Skeens, Dylan Cruz, Livy Dunn, Flau'jae Johnson, Angel Reese, Haley Bryant. These are massively famous people that have blossomed in the NIL era at LSU. And I say this all the time. I don't think this is because I'm in this purple and gold bubble. I really don't think so. Like, tell me the Florida athletes that have done that. Like, Florida won a national championship in basketball last year. Like, is there a superstar from that? Jack Caglione on the baseball side, Wyatt Langford, like, they're not as famous as Paul Skeens. They're Livy Dunn's famous. And I think Flau'jae, because of what she's done in basketball and then in the music world, is famous. It was cool. I heard Charlie and Jimmy talking about this early today. They showed a video from Flau'jae's freshman year before she ever played a game, and she had a bunch of goals. National championship was on there. Check that off. Want to talk about becoming an artist, getting a label. Check those 2 lists off. She talked about yesterday having recorded a song with Lil Wayne. She's accomplished so much in those 4 years, and it's all been right here in purple and gold. And that's someone who will have a connection to this place forever. And I think that's kind of rare in collegiate athletics. It makes content great for us. It's like portal this, portal that. There's 40 new football players. This is incredible. Like, oh man, Tommy White shows up, and there's Paul Skeens for a year, and he goes nuts. It's like, here comes Sam Levitt. Like, that's exciting stuff to cover for us. But the negative side of that is, like, do you have a connection? Or are you a mercenary? You don't have to question that with Flau'jae. She's had an amazing career, and I'm pulling for him to get it done in March, because I think this could be kind of a stamp on an era. Kim Mulkey became the first coach ever to win 25 games in her first 4 years at a school last night, and they took it to Tennessee. And we think they're good enough to make a run at this thing, and Flaugier will certainly be right in the middle of it. So hat tip to her for an incredible career. I know the PMAC was full last night. She deserved that. Hopefully she kind of gets over this mental deal with free throws. It was tough to watch her go to the line against South Carolina and miss those two, and now she's struggling from the line after that. She's got to shake that out, and she's got one more regular season game, and then they go to the SC tournament and see what they can do there, and then it's time to turn the lights on. That's why this program exists at this point, is to get into March and make noise. And so hopefully Flaugier can get that thing rolling. But senior night for her. So awesome stuff in the PMAC last night. And the Tigers take it to the Lady Vols. Longest winning streak ever over the Lady Vols. Not quite the program they once were under Pat Summitt, that's for sure. So that's a hat tip to the Lady Tigers and to Flaugier Johnson. That's it for hour number one. Fast moving hour number one. Started things off talking baseball and what I'm expecting from this weekend series. LSU playing Dartmouth and Northeastern. Of course, Grambling State is in town as well. They'll play the other two teams. LSU won't see them, but they'll play the other two teams in the daytime hours and then at night on Saturday and Sunday. We talked about that at the top of the show. Also talked a little football with Preston Guy, and then did a little bit of Saints talk as well. Hunt on LSU is where you can find our LSU content. Hunt on Saints is where you can find our Saints content. Catch our full shows on demand. Search Hunt Palmer Show wherever you find your podcast, of course, on YouTube as well. Busy hour 2 coming. Got some more baseball talk to get to. Got some more Saints talk to issue. Garrett Nussmeier met with the media earlier today and had something very interesting to say. We'll get to that after SportsCenter.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com, HighlandIG.com. If you're a business owner, do you know what EPL insurance covers? Do you know what crime insurance covers? Do you know if you need that? How do you know what your building's worth? Have you got an evaluation done? If there's a claim, could there be co-insurance penalties? Do you know what that is? Like, these are the questions that not every single insurance broker is skilled in. Some folks are just in insurance to try to cut costs and get as many clients as they can. That's not the name of the game for the Highland Insurance Group. They're here to make sure that you're covered. They're, of course, going to consider premium. But they've got experts who know what programs and what carriers are best for what businesses. And they'll match you up with that and make sure that you're covered. Because the last thing you want to do is spend on premium and then have an uncovered claim. Talk to Jonathan Carbo and his team at the Highland Insurance Group. Make sure your insurance is right. Get a second set of eyeballs on that. They're online at HighlandIG.com. That's HighlandIG.com.
When it comes to industrial construction, a River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know each case and client are unique, and that no two cases are the same. But one thing remains constant, and that is our passion to help our clients. After an accident, we know your life has changed, which is why we passionately fight to make you and your family whole. Remember, whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. We're here to serve you.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit LouisianaPropane.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
This is SportsCenter.
The Cowboys tag a star on Chris Smith. The Cowboys place a franchise tag on wide receiver George Pickens, which guarantees him at least $28 million with Dallas in 2026. The two sides have until July 15th to sign a long-term contract. But even though Dallas signed CeeDee Lamb to an extension in 2024 that pays him $34 million annually and included $100 million in guaranteed money, ESPN's Todd Archer says it's okay to have two high-paid wideouts.
The Eagles had two high-paid wide receivers a couple years ago, and they won the Super Bowl. The Bengals have T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. So you don't want to make your team worse. And if you say Pickens is gone or you're just going to have him for another year, then you're looking down the road. You got to maybe think about drafting a receiver this year to fill in later on. And then that takes away from all the stuff you have to do on defense.
Heard on ESPN Radio's Amber and Ian. The team used the non-exclusive tag on Pickens, which allows him to talk to other teams when free agency begins on March 11th. On to baseball, where the Mets plan to put out newly required ace Freddie Peralta on the mound against Pittsburgh on opening day. New York traded two prospects in Milwaukee last month for the
Hey, it's resident Super Bowl champ Chris Candy coming up Monday from the NBA to the Combine. I'll react to it all in my Upon Further Review at 7 a.m. Eastern. It's Unsportsmanlike weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, coming to you from the Raising Cane studio. Last hour of the week for us, working towards the weekend. I hope that work week's in the rearview mirror. If it's not, we'll get you to the finish line here. We're going to talk a little bit of Saints salary cap. What is the salary cap, and what does it mean for the Saints coming up at 2:15? A little bit more baseball talk coming your way at 2:30. But we'll start with some LSU football, and specifically Garrett Nussmeier. You know, some seasons are more remarkable than others. That doesn't mean good, but more remarkable than others. I don't know a lot about the 2014 LSU football season if you just made me go talk about that. That was Fournette's freshman year. I guess they started with Wisconsin, but I don't really remember much about that year. It was an unremarkable year. There's not a lot to say about the 2013 LSU year. They threw it around a lot, and they had the 1,000-yard receivers and 1,000-yard rusher with their bad defense. But, I mean, you don't win championships. The bottom didn't fall out. It's just kind of an unremarkable year. The 2025 season was a remarkable year for multiple reasons. One, you fired a coach and an athletic director right in the middle of it, and it was such a highly anticipated season opener and season. You had that number one portal class. I'll remember the 2025 season for a long time, and I will certainly remember as part of that 2025 season going into Tiger Stadium the Saturday before LSU played Clemson in the most anticipated season opener in a long time. And it was 7 days before they kicked off against Clemson, and they let us go into Tiger Stadium to watch practice and document it. And I sat in the press box, and Garrett Nussmeier never threw a football. Never. I have been going to LSU football practices since 2010. That was 15 years. And I have never gone to a football practice where the quarterback never threw a ball. And we saw Garrett Nussmeier do it twice. And I didn't really think anything of it when we saw it indoors in one of the random Thursday, Tuesday practice, whatever that we went to. I was like, yeah, just give him a day off, whatever. I really didn't think anything of it. When I went into Tiger Stadium and I saw him not throw 7 days before kickoff, my antennas went up. And I talked about it on the show. I said, it just seems a little odd, but Brian Kelly came on and said, no, just load management, fifth-year senior. We know he can throw. We're just kind of taking some plays off. And I kind of went with it, but in the back of my head, I was going, we sure? And it turns out he was hurt. And Garrett Nussmeier, which I talked about 2 weeks ago, is just simply not going to draw attention to himself in the media. He was LSU's starting quarterback for 2 years. He was the most boring interview I've ever done. Not to say he's a boring guy. I'm sure he's a great guy. I don't know him. But in a press conference setting, he doesn't say squat. Garrett, y'all are playing Ole Miss. Jackson Dart's the quarterback. Like, is this a big showdown between two quarterbacks? We're playing Ole Miss. It's not two quarterbacks. Garrett, huge game with Alabama. Just another football game. We're going to go out there and try to take care of business. Cliches, monotone. He gives you nothing, and that's intentional. He does that on purpose. So when we asked him about his injury, he dismissed it and dismissed it and dismissed it. Brian Kelly talked about it a little bit, but Garrett Nussmeier consistently just blew it off. So we didn't really know what was going on. And then at the Senior Bowl, he sat down with Flynn and Hester, who were there in Mobile, and said, yeah, I couldn't use my torso. I couldn't really throw. And he finally opened up about it, and now we know. But he went further at the Combine today. He was interviewed by a number of reporters, and now that you don't have to make excuses and the season's over and he's not getting hit and he not giving anything to his opponents or excuses, he's just talking. And he was asked about his injury today, and he really peeled back the onion a little bit.
Yeah, my injury occurred in fall camp, day 2, practice 2 of fall camp. How much did it affect me? It was, I think it was pretty evident. I really wasn't able to throw the football. I had a stabbing pain in my ab every time I went to go throw the ball. And, we weren't able to figure out exactly what it was. It was a frustrating deal, and it wasn't LSU's fault. It wasn't the doctor's fault. They did a great job of taking care of me and the trainers there. It was just a rare deal. It was just a thing that, we really didn't figure out what it was until about 2 months ago. Had about 9 days to prepare for the Senior Bowl and try and get back right for that. And so made a lot of progress over the last month. And so feeling much more like myself, which has been exciting. Learning how to retrain myself, get rid of the bad habits that I created, and just be able to get to throw the football like I know I can.
The second day of fall camp, he got hurt. Day 2, they don't even have the pads on day 2, and he got hurt. This season was over before LSU put pads on. And Brian Kelly lost his job. Now, maybe the offensive line was terrible and the play calling was terrible and it would have gone poorly anyway. Maybe. I don't know. I don't think they would have won the national championship if Nussmeier was healthy. But when you look at what LSU's offense did and how bad it was, they couldn't score points on Louisiana Tech. They couldn't score points on Tech. And it's just a great what if. We do What If Wednesday on this show. What if he stays healthy? I don't know. But when you consider that he was physically incapable of really throwing the ball, and that's all he can do. He can't run. He's not 6'4". He's all he can do is spin the football. And he couldn't do it. You had a dimensionless quarterback that you were playing with. It just changes the equation. And they knew about it from day 2. So the question could be asked, hey, Hunt, you're at practice every day. You've said 1 billion times, Brian Kelly gave y'all as much access as any coach ever has. What were y'all doing out there? How did you not see this? And I have an answer for you. I don't know. It didn't look that bad to me. I mean, the offense looked bad because they couldn't block. They never ran the ball. They struggled to complete passes. But it didn't look to me like he was a guy that was hunched over on his side every time he threw the ball or that everything was floating out like a duck. I mean, if you go back and watch the Louisiana Tech highlights on YouTube, and trust me when I say I'm not exaggerating at all Not exaggerating at all. That has been played in my house 320 times because it was the first game Myers ever went to, and he wants to watch the highlights of it on YouTube all the time. He will come, he will go to me and he say, hey, can we watch the LSU and the Bulldogs and the Tigers that run out? He says it that way because the first scene of the YouTube highlights is LSU running out of the tunnel. So that's just how he communicates to me. He says, can you watch the Tigers and the Bulldogs and the Tigers that run out? And that means put the Tech game on. And I've done it 300 times. The first play that they show on that highlight tape is a deep ball. And Barryon Brown is wide open, 3 yards, 5 yards behind the defense. And the ball floats out and they pick it. It's an interception. And we just I don't remember seeing that in camp. Him just coming up woefully short. But I did talk to some sources within the program in September about it. And everyone, even though it was off the record and they suggested he was okay. He was not okay. He couldn't throw the ball. They shut him down at the end of the season. And so you've got people now asking, like, why even play him? Like, why would you even put him out there? Why would he take a red shirt? Well, he's not going to take a medical when they've pulled in the number 1 portal class. You've got all these guys in their final year of eligibility, and he's in his 5th year in college. Like, sitting out for the season was just not tenable. So what they did was they went out there and they threw screens for 4 quarters against Clemson, and they beat them because their defense was awesome. So they figured, we can just throw screens, and that wasn't going to get it. And teams figured it out, and they couldn't stretch the field, and they can't run the ball, and then it was just a disaster. But day 2 of fall camp, he got hurt. That is a nightmare. And so this will be a season, to go back to my original point, that I will remember, and that image of him not throwing the ball in Tiger Stadium when I'm sitting in the press box will be burned into my brain until I can't remember anymore. Like, that will be my lasting image of the 2025 season is Nussmeier couldn't throw. And you can have a barroom discussion, a family discussion around the dinner table for a long time, but what happens if the guy that threw for 4,000 yards healthy is healthy last year? You can have that discussion forever. And I honestly don't know the answer. I don't think they're going to the playoff, but I think they're better. And I do think that Garrett Nussmeier has a chance to forge a pro career based on some of the things that I saw him do in 2024. You don't just fall out of bed and throw for 4,000 yards. Joe Burrow is the only quarterback in the history of LSU football to throw for more than that in a single season. Yes, he made some mental mistakes. Yes, the second half against A&M was terrible that year. Yes, the Alabama game in the rain was awful. I'm not suggesting he was going to win the Heisman Trophy, but he is a good college quarterback who's a talented dude who can make tough throws. And that was gone from his ability this past year, and it happened on the second day of practice. I'd like to ask Brian Kelly about it. Maybe one day when he gets into to television, or when he writes a book or whatever it is that he does, gets on the record. Like, Brian Kelly seems to me to be a pretty candid guy. Not a lot of pressure on him. $800,000 a month's rolling in. I know that. I'd like to hear, like, how much do you think it affected it? And see what his answer is. Because that's just, for as much anticipation, as many good players they had on that team, and the improvements they made on defense, to be that feckless on offense. Yes, it was some play calling. Yes, it was some offensive line lack of development. Yes, it was some poor quarterback play, but the injury was factored in at some point too. And man, I just didn't see it coming. I did not see it in August. But he's telling you about it now. All right, that's a look at Garrett Nussmeier's injury from the Combine. We'll see what he's able to do up there in Indianapolis over the weekend. Our Friday show is brought to you by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. They're happy to do catering, by the way. If you're tailgating out at the box, if you've got a birthday party coming up, if you're doing a lunch and learn at the office, Cork's is happy to help you out with that. Just go to corksfishandshrimp.com. You can see their catering orders are available right there. You can stop by Government between Foster and Jefferson. Get those big old trays of crispy fried catfish, jumbo Gulf shrimp, shoestring fries, honey butter rolls. Got the awesome little beignet bites as well as a little dessert treat. Check them out on Government between Foster and Jefferson online at corksfishandshrimp.com. When we come back, what's the salary cap? Now we know. And what does it mean for the Saints? We'll talk about it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. Swing Easy, GCBR.com. Swing Easy, GCBR.com. Play some golf this weekend. Don't have a tee time? Doesn't matter. You can check them out at swingeasygolfclub.com. One of the things that's cool about Swing Easy, they're open late. My next door neighbor a couple weeks ago went up there at 8 o'clock. You can go play golf at 8 o'clock at night, pitch black, because you're inside on the simulator. Play Pebble Beach. Try to make a hole-in-one on 7. I tried it 600 times. Didn't do it. Got close. Hit the pin 3 times. See what you can do. Play around at Pebble. Play around at Cypress Point. TPC Sawgrass. Players is right around the corner. See how you handle. You card a score, hang out with your friends, drink some cold beers. They got seltzers there as well. Turn the television on in there. Comfortable seating. You can crank some tunes on the turtle boxes they got in there. It's a great place to hang out. So if you're looking for weekend plans, looking for something to do, call up a buddy. Go to Swing Easy Golf Club. They're on Segan at Perkins. SwingEasyGCBR.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient. And the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Very nice win by Mississippi State today at Globe Life Field. They beat Arizona State, who came in 8-1. They had split a midweek pair of games with Oklahoma, but Oklahoma needed a two-run rally in the last inning of the second game of that series to win one. Arizona State's pretty good, I think, and Mississippi State beats them 8-4. Arizona State's ace came out of the game with leg cramps, and after that, the bullpen just got bashed. But it's a nice job by Mississippi State. Now the big one this afternoon from Arlington. It'll be UCLA and Tennessee at 3 o'clock. Tegan Coons will go for the Vols. Curious to see how that one shakes out. The Mississippi State game was free on YouTube, so if you're looking for something this afternoon to check out, 3 o'clock, so 42 minutes away from right now, you can maybe YouTube Tennessee and UCLA and check it out on YouTube. It should be a heck of a game. UCLA is mega talented, and I think Tennessee is probably better than they've shown, and certainly they got to bounce back from last week. And if they go to Arlington and really struggle, lose all three or lose two, you're going to hear some rumblings from Knoxville. And I made the comment when Tony Vitello left. I was like, I just don't think they can maintain this, and I would sell stock in Tennessee baseball. I don't think that's applicable to this year. I think this team's pretty good, but over the long haul, I don't think they'll be able to sustain what they had done. So we'll see. Big game this afternoon in LSU tonight. We'll play against Dartmouth. We'll talk about that coming up here in about 10 minutes. All right, the NFL has announced its salary cap for the 2026 season. We get that around the combine time every single year, and it's going to go up $22 million from last year. So the 2026 salary cap is going to be $301,200,000, so $301.2 million. They had given a range of 301.2 to 305.7. It falls on the low end of that, but just over $301 million. So the Saints still have some work to do. They've got to get compliant, but that's not going to be a big hurdle for the Saints to clear. Now, I've told you this many times, don't have any problem telling you this. Among the things that we talk about on this show, the thing that I have the least confidence in is the NFL salary cap. When you start converting things into roster bonuses and signing bonuses and spreading out money over the course of deals and doing extensions and what applies and what doesn't, and how dead money because this guy retired and he plays for another team, but you still got to – it's a lot to deal with. I don't have my Kai Harley degree, but Ross Jackson does, and he covers the Saints for LouisianaSports.net, so I read him. And he said there are 3 deals that can be restructured that would save the Saints north of $25 million. Chase Young's contract, they can save about $11 million. Juwan Johnson's contract, just north of $6 million. And then they can extend Chris Olave, which would spread money out over the course of a couple of years, and they could save $8 or $9 million on that. And at that point, the Saints could be essentially compliant and could be able to get back into the market for free agents. The question is just how aggressive they're going to be with these new parameters. This is something we've discussed ad nauseum, that they're in a position they have not been in a very long time. It's just a question of how they want to approach it. If we're going to put like a number on it, 0 to 10, okay? Like, there have been years, the back end of the Breeze era, in terms of spending and in terms of doing what they were doing, they were at like a 9 on the aggressiveness scale. Like, we're doing whatever we can to try to put this around Breeze and make this thing happen. And then they throttled back, and you have seen them over the last couple of years not do crazy work with free agents and not do crazy work with contracts. They backed down, and I think they should be around a 6 at this point in terms of aggressiveness. You do need to fill some needs, and I think they can win the division this year. I don't know if I'd pick them to win it today, but I think they can win it. But you can't mortgage 27, 28, 29 with your aggressiveness in 26 and handcuff yourself. I don't think they're good enough to do that. It was fun winning the games at the end of the year. That's fun. But don't let it cloud your judgment. You've got to take a step back and realize that I think the years where if things go right, if this draft class that you signed for last year that was rookies last year, if they blossom into really good players in year 2, and if Shuck is that dude that we hope he is, then I think your real window to hammer it with the rookie quarterback contract is 27-28. That's when you got to ramp this thing up. It's not right now. So this is good that you've got a bump in the salary cap of $20 million, that you don't have to do a lot of gymnastics. There are only really 3 contracts you've got to look at to handle. That's a good thing. That's a good start. But don't get out over your skis again and hamper. I want to be talking at this time next year about the Saints like under the cap. There are teams in the NFL right now that are in the neighborhood of $70 million under the cap. That's never going to happen as long as Mickey Loomis is running things in New Orleans. That's just never going to happen. It's just not. But they can be under. They can have flexibility. That's the goal. I want to be talking about significant flexibility next year. Here's the scale. It starts where the Saints were, which is we have to do all these gymnastics just to get under the cap. That's where you start. And then it gets to, we don't have to do that much. And then the next step, which is not this year, but it could be next year and certainly the year after that, is we can go spend now. We're way clear of the cap. It's a progression. You can't go from jail to paradise in a year. It's a slide. And we all knew the Saints were getting into that last offseason when you knew the thing was falling apart. But this is encouraging. I love reading Ross's piece at LouisianaSports.net where he goes, you want to know how they do it? It's 3 guys. Usually they're 120 over. They'll get it under. They'll work the numbers. They'll cook the books. Harley will get in there. He'll get in the lab. He'll start spinning things around. It'll spit out something compliant. It looks atrocious on the books for the next 3 years, but he'll get it figured out. That's where you started. You can't go to, okay, we can sign everybody now in free agency. You can't do that in a year. But you can make moves forward, and they're doing that. So now they know what their limit is, and they know where they stand. And I suggest you need to plug a few holes. Want to sign one of the top guards to a 3-year deal? You can do that right now. You want to sign a veteran in the secondary? You want to sign a veteran on the defensive front? Maybe you need somebody to fill in because DeMario Davis walks. You want to handle that? You can plug maybe 2 of those holes in free agency. You can't go nuts. You can't do what New England did last year. You can't do what Tennessee's about to do this year. You can't go nuts. 2 guys. Aggressively. But when you do that, and then you see what the books could look like in 2027 and 2028, that's when you might be able to shop at the high end of the market. If you handle yourself properly this year. You went from jail to the halfway house. Okay, now we're where we need to be. You're in the halfway house right now. They got to make sure that they handle themselves the proper way this year. Now they know what they're looking at. A $22 million increase from last year. Saints just a little bit over that. 3 contracts flipped. You're in a good shape. Plug it with a guard. Handle your draft class well. Move a couple contracts off the books that are hurting you right now that won't be very, very soon. And you're in a good spot. It's another positive development for this Saints team. I like where they stand, and I think that they can do some good things. It's crazy to think about what we were talking about in October. But at this point, things look a little different, and that's an exciting thing. Yesterday, we talked about them being named the best draft class in the league last year, and now you're talking about some room to spend, which is a great thing for the black and gold down in New Orleans. All right, let me tell you about my friends at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Fabry Chevrolet GMC, Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Go by and see them this afternoon. Go by and see them tomorrow. Why? Because those are days in February. Come Monday, February's over, and I can't promise you these kind of savings on trucks. But in February, up to $11,000 off Chevy Silverados, up to $13,000 off GMC Sierras. 5 figures in saving off MSRP on Silverados and Sierras. So if you're looking for a new truck, maybe your lease is up, maybe it's just time for a new ride, maybe you've always wanted a truck and haven't had the guts to pull the trigger. Here's the time. Go to Fabry Chevrolet GMC, Highway 61 in St. Francisville, and tell them it's time to get a truck. And they'll tell you about the awesome savings that we've got. You can find the whole inventory right there on FabryChevrolet.com. That's where you can start your buying process, but go see and make that short drive to St. Francisville, FabryChevrolet.com. All right, when we come back, let's talk some LSU baseball. Tigers in Dartmouth tonight. Tigers in Northeastern on Saturday, then Dartmouth again on Sunday, Northeastern on Monday. I talked pitching in the first segment of the show. Let's talk some offense next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Marucci. Go take a tour at Marucci. Baseball season is here, and so you can go check out where they make the official bat of Major League Baseball. That is, of course, at Marucci. It's such an awesome story. They started in a backyard shed in 2002. Now you look forward 24 years later, and they're the official bat of Major League Baseball. Go take a campus tour, maruccisports.com/campus-tours, where you can buy your tickets. You go on that tour, and every ticket to the tour comes with a 20% discount in the campus tour store and in the hitter's house. Got a youth baseball team? Take them by Marucci. Got a youth softball team? Take them by Marucci. Get them in the cages. Take some hacks and see where they make 1,200 bats a day. What a cool thing. If you're looking for something, an outing this weekend, got some kiddos in the house, got to get them out. Go to Marucci. Take a tour. It's right there on Segan. Find them online at maruccisports.com/campus-tour. You can get a tour. Get 20% off in the campus tour store and hitter's house over at Marucci.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
If your office is experiencing performance performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
Okay, and what is our goal?
Less than 110.
That's right, less than 110.
We teach. We laugh. We pray.
Dear Heavenly Father, please guide our hands during this procedure.
Hey, how we feeling today?
I'm feeling better. We heal.
You look better.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
We do all things
I got you. No way.
with great love. FMOL Health. This is how we healthcare.
Hi, this is Beth Tarina. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized, it'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain is supreme.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Failure happens to us all, but it's how champions evolve. The only thing that matters from a loss is if you get back up when you fall. You gotta get up. Failure happens to us all.
Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. You're standing for meat on this Lenten Friday. How about Corks? Like make you a shrimp po' boy. It's awesome. Fantastic jumbo Gulf shrimp. The recipe was born right here in the seafood capital of the world, South Louisiana. Their government between Foster and Jefferson. It's a great shrimp po' boy. Go get it. Get you some shoestring fries. Enjoy that Friday afternoon of Lent over at Corks. The entire menu is online at corksfishandshrimp.com. All right, let's talk a little baseball. Dartmouth's going to throw a freshman tonight, Izzy Parsky. He was our opening day starter. Threw 3 2/3 innings against Fairleigh Dickinson last week. Gave up 7 hits and 4 earned runs. Starting a right-hander against LSU is just not a fun proposition because right there in the first inning, you're going to deal with Curiel from the left side. You're going to deal with Milam from the left side. You're going to deal with York from the left side. You're going to deal with Brown from the left side. It's just very uncomfortable to deal with those 4 guys right out of the chute when you're right-handed, especially when you're a freshman and your only outing as a college player was against Fairleigh Dickinson, and you're going to sit in front of 8,000, 9,000 to box tonight. So I expect LSU to play well coming off a loss tonight. The key thing, and I mentioned this briefly yesterday, but I'll say it again today, this is a big weekend for some of the guys on this team. It's a big weekend for Tanner Reeves. It's a big weekend for Braden Simpson. It's a big weekend for Mason Braun. It's a big weekend for John Pearson. It's a big weekend for these guys because you're about to see a shrinking of LSU's rotation to a degree. Because Chris Stanfield's eventually going to come back. It doesn't sound like he's going to hit this week, but he's going to eventually come back. And if you're going to vie for playing time in this lineup and Seth Dardar's going to nail down second base, DH is your spot. And you got Mason Braun there, and you got John Pearson there. And if Simpson wants to play, he needs to hit. And if Reeves wants to play, he needs to hit. You throw up an 0 for 2 with a strikeout this week, and your next chance may not come for a while as far as in the starting lineup. And that's just the nature of it. I love the depth of this LSU team. It's probably the biggest strength of the team is the depth. That's on the mound, and it's in the lineup. And the fact that LSU can roll with Simpson and Pearson against a lefty, or can roll with Braun and Reeves against a righty, the fact that they've got those options is a very, very positive thing. And the fact that when you go to a bullpen arm, LSU's generally going to have a guy from the other side of the plate to counter with is a good thing. But to suggest that LSU in an SEC weekend is going to start 12 different players, I think is ambitious. I think that's ambitious. So Jay's always going to play matchups. He's always going to do some platoon things. He's always going to have a pinch hit guy available. But if you want significant time, you need to show it now. And you're facing a Dartmouth team that's Friday guy is a true freshman who got lit up by Fairleigh Dickinson, and a Northeastern team who comes into this weekend with a team ERA of 15. They got run ruled twice by Minnesota. They have given up 10-plus runs in 5 of 6 games. So, yeah, you need to hit these guys. I mentioned this at the top of the show, so for those that have been here for 95 minutes, you're hearing it for a second time. For those that have not been here 90 minutes, you're catching it for the first time. But this is the toughest stretch for the fans to get invested in, because the newness of opening weekend is gone. The thrill of the tournament in Jacksonville is gone. Now you're at the box. You're playing teams no one's ever heard of, and you don't have SEC play for another 2 weeks. So, yeah, the fans are probably, a little bit tuned out this week. The players need to lock in. You got to earn your time. And I think the great thing about what Jay Johnson has done with this program is that he has instilled a motivation in his team and an acceptance of roles in his team. Like last year, Jake Brown didn't start against left-handed pitchers, and he didn't complain about it. Chase Shores lost his job as a starting rotation guy. He didn't fuss. He got better. That national championship team, Gavin Dugas wasn't a starter on opening day. Cade Beloso wasn't a starter on opening day. Ty Floyd wasn't in the rotation to start the season. Riley Cooper got demoted out. And I could keep going on with these examples of guys who selflessly have just done what they've been asked to do. But if you want to make sure that you're being asked to do a little bit more, you need to hit this weekend. Like, Milam doesn't have to worry about it. Aaron Beatty doesn't have to worry about it. Curiel doesn't have to worry about it. Those guys are going to play. But there's playing time to be had at second base and certainly at DH. You got to earn it because somebody's going to hit. And if you're asking for my projection at this point, I think Tanner Reeves' playing time may dwindle a little bit. I think Braden Simpson's playing time might dwindle a little bit. Credit to Simpson for embracing roles. This is a guy who was the star of his High Point team last year, 22 homers. They said, okay, come here, play a lot of first in the fall. He did. Play a lot of second in the fall. Play some second as a starter. He has. Okay, Stanfield's hurt. Can you go play left, please? He did. By the way, I was out there 2 weeks before the season started. Aaron Beatty got hurt. He went back there and put the gear on and caught. Simpson has been incredibly accepting of whatever they've asked him to do. But I think Braun's role is going to be there. And I'll tell you this is not something I would have said in late January, early February. I would not have said, I think John Pearson's going to have a big role in this team. I would not have said that. Didn't think he would play first base and didn't think he'd be one of the best DH options. I do not believe that anymore. I think he will be a DH option against left-handed pitching and absolutely will be a pinch hit guy against left-handers. And when he's been given a chance, he's hit. He didn't start the game on Tuesday when they lost to McNeese. Came in, bang, home run. And he's done a good job against left-handed pitching. I thought they forced him a little bit last year against lefties. I don't think he was ready for some of those SEC lefties coming off the bench cold. But he's a year older now. He's not the youngest guy on the field. And I think he will help. So this is a big weekend. Another guy that I'll be watching this weekend for sure is Omar Cerna. Need good defense from him and need him to swing the bat. I think Omar Cerna is going to get a big piece of SEC action this year. I think he's going to start a game a weekend. I talked about this a week ago, but I'll reiterate for those that missed it. I spoke with someone inside the program last January, and we talked about catcher. And if you'll remember, catcher was vacated. We didn't know who was going to be the catcher last year. Aaron Beatty was a freshman. They had brought in Luis Hernandez, who didn't catch at Indiana State. Eddie Yaman had come in from Dayton, where he really hit the ball. And so he was an option back there as well. And ultimately, Hernandez won that job. And when I was talking to that source inside the program, they said, look, he hit a lot at Indiana State. He hit a ton of homers, high average. We don't think we'll get that kind of production from him because we're going to ask him to play defense a lot. And they knew that entering as much wear and tear comes out on your body from catching, it hurts your offensive game, just does. And they figured that regression may come. And it did. He did not hit nearly as much against SEC pitching and with catching every day as he did at Indiana State. However, toward the end of the season, they let Ianson catch Saturdays and Tuesdays. Sorry, they let Aaron Beatty catch Saturdays and Tuesdays. He caught Ianson. And when that happened, there was a correlation with Hernandez heating up offensively. He hit 2 home runs in the regional against Little Rock. He had the big swing against Arkansas that banged off the Charles Davalon's shoulder and scored the tying run in the ninth. And they think that correlation came with less defensive responsibility. And I know this, they want Cade Aaron Beatty to be a star on this team offensively. And they don't want him to get worn down behind the plate. And the way to do that is to spell him. And the guy that's going to spell him is Cerna. And Cerna needs to prove he can be ready for that. Jay talked about that yesterday in his press conference, that he's been thrilled. And big credit goes to Josh Jordan, who works with these catchers tirelessly. He turned Luis Hernandez from a DH/first baseman at Indiana State into a damn good catcher last year. And Aaron Beatty was lost in the woods when he got here trying to play defense behind the plate last fall. As a true freshman in the fall, he was lost defensively. He lost the job because of it. Now he's good. I got a little irritated on Tuesday because he tried to stab a couple of fastballs. One he did, and one got by him. You got to slide over and get your body in front of it. He's not perfect, but he's much better than he was in that fall. Josh Jordan does a good job, and he's got to work with Omar Cerna. Omar Cerna is here because he can hit the ball over the light tower, but he's got to learn how to catch. He caught it in high school, but you got to learn how to catch 97. You got to learn how to catch these sliders. You got to learn how to block the ball. And so he's got to get up to snuff, up to standard, so that Aaron Beatty can take a day or two off a week and he can keep his legs under him to hit in the middle of this order. Because he's got off to a great start. And if Aaron Beatty turns into a 5-hole hitter who clubs 14 homers, this team gets closer to its ceiling. But he only gets there if Cerna can spell him adequately, and Cerna's got to take the steps necessary to get there, and that starts with crushing this garbage pitching that we're going to see this weekend. It starts with crushing Dartmouth. It starts with crushing Northeastern. So that's your offensive look at this thing. Guys that are competing at second base, left field, and DH, you better hit this weekend. Catcher, I'm looking for good defense and Cerna to keep progressing. And then it goes to the bullpen, which I haven't talked about yet. They're going to go to Sheeran if it's a close game. They're going to go to Guidry if it's a close game. Those are the two guys who are at the top of this thing. But I need some more guys to throw it a little bit better. And it really starts with Zach Cowan. They may not use him on the weekend. They haven't used him on the weekend the last 2 weeks. And then he's been asked to start midweek games. And you do have a Monday game this coming week. And you do have a Wednesday game at ULL coming up this week. So there's a lot coming. And maybe they want to save Cowan to start one of those games. But whenever he gets back on the mound at some point, I need more out of Cowan. Got to be better. And there's track record there. You don't strike out 120-something at Wofford as the Friday night starter if you can't pitch. And you don't dominate through 8 SEC weeks like he did last year if you can't pitch. He can pitch. He's not going to throw 97. He can be better than he's been the first 2 weeks of the season. So I'm looking for Callan, whatever it is, to step in, throw strikes, use that changeup to get weak contact, miss a couple of bats, and get things moving in the right direction. It's a tough weekend to get invested and get involved if you're a fan. I get it. Waiting for SEC play. We're just trying to get to Nashville. But you're 2 weeks away from that. So you got to buckle down. You got to play well. I mentioned after they lost to McNeese, trying to get, you're talking about 26 games in the non-conference. 22-4 is kind of the goal there, okay? 22-4 is what you'd like to do. You dropped one. Take care of your business in 4 games this weekend. We'll talk about Monday's game on the show. Thankfully, all the 1 o'clock starts are in the rearview mirror. We're all night games now in the midweek. They play in the afternoon on Saturday and Sunday this week, but all nights in the midweek now. So we'll have to compete with LSU baseball. But take care of your business. Get those 4 wins this weekend, and keep on trucking along towards the towards SEC play. A lot of SEC teams playing some big time opponents this week, and it starts coming up here in 17 minutes. UCLA and Tennessee will play from Globe Life. I think you can watch that for free on YouTube. So I'll have an eye on that as we move forward through the afternoon. We got one thing left to do here, and that's, of course, play Take It or Leave It. That's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. I say redesign, I say remodel. You may start thinking dollar signs, ripping walls out, really invasive, really expensive, and sometimes that is the case. You want to do a whole deal, that can be expensive, but it doesn't have to be. Maybe it's something small. If you've got an old bathtub that you don't use, you've got a bathtub that's not functioning properly, you've got dingy, grimy old tub that's been there for 30 years, take it out. There's a lot of space being used there, and if you're not using the tub, take it out. Put in a gorgeous glass walk-in shower. Changes the look of your bathroom, the functionality of your bathroom, add a little value to your home. And David Duvall and his team do that stuff all the time. That is the number one gig that David Duvall and One Bath and Closets are called in to do. It's tub to shower conversions. So if you've got a tub that you don't use, call David Duvall. Go to the website, onebathandclosets.com. Get the consultation. Have him come in, show you what they can do. You need financing? They got it. 0% up to 18 months. It's One Bath and Closets. You can find their reviews, pictures of their great work, and get that consultation at onebathandclosets.com.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Friday shows brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. About a week in the rearview mirror here. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. I'm gonna be clear, blunt up front, Jordan. This is a big rarity.
Okay.
As I sit here right now, it is 2:48 p.m. on Friday.
Yep.
I'm 100% certain LSU has a basketball game tomorrow. I do not know who they play.
Oof.
I don't know.
Do you want me to guess?
It's Oklahoma, Auburn, and I think A&M is what's left.
That's left. Well,
but I don't know who they play, and I don't know where it is. That is incredibly rare. I think it's at home because they were on the road this week. My guess is they play Oklahoma here.
Oh, mine was Auburn. I was gonna say Auburn. That's my guess. Is Auburn.
Do you know how rare that is? I always know.
Oh, because you're the hoops guy. You're the hoops guy.
That's what's happened here. Like they can't play any consequential games. Oklahoma at home, 5 o'clock tomorrow.
Damn, I thought it was Auburn.
I'll be at an anniversary dinner, so I won't be there.
Hey man, you gotta handle your business, man.
I do.
You're not missing nothing.
5 years. Look,
You're not missing nothing.
It bums me out that they cannot get to late February to play a consequential game.
Yeah.
It bums me out. I don't even care what the reason is. That's not even the point of the discussion. I don't care about the coach right now. I don't care about the injury to Don Thomas. I don't care about the former athletic director. I don't care about Jalen Reed. I don't like the reason is not the deal. I'm just bummed out that the actuality is that they're playing completely meaningless basketball in February. That's because this is a fun time of year if your team's good.
Yeah.
And they're 3-12 or whatever they are.
You know, I totally agree. I also think that y'all are not asking for too much out of the program. It's not like y'all are here, oh, we gotta make the a championship run. Like y'all just want to make the tournament. That's all y'all asking is just to make the tournament.
You know how much more fun it is when they play that song on CBS and your team has a game?
Playing. Well, it's fun until
they tip off.
Yeah, I'm about to say until you play that 12 seed from some out the Northeast.
To that point, that Wade team that went to the Sweet 16 that won the SEC in 19.
Yeah.
They were really good. They were great. And they played Yale in the first round.
Yeah.
And I was doing hoops with Hunt at the time, and I said, like, in every tournament game that is not a 1/16, the losing team makes a run. In every game. You never just blast
blow
somebody.
them out, yeah.
They always make a run. And sure enough, LSU came out smoking, and they got a 15, 18-point lead on Yale, and here came Yale. And they hit them with like an 8-0. And I was at my house at the time, and I was like, I'm freaking out. This team cannot lose to Yale. And they held them off, and they ended up doing it. But that 5 minutes of game time sucked.
Yeah.
But it was great. I loved it. It sucks, but it was great. And there will be no such thing this year. I'll just look at my bracket get blown up, and that'll be the issue. I'll pull against Bama.
The main game I think about that is totally the Kentucky versus Oakland game. Where, with that Jack Golke guy. Where
that guy was hitting them from deep, baby.
You know, and Kentucky had Dillingham, Reed Shepard. We talking lottery picks, and Golke came out there and lit him on fire.
Deep.
Yeah.
Oakland.
It wasn't even like Oakland, California.
No, it's Michigan.
Yeah, literally. So, they lit him on fire.
There was a guy that transferred to my middle school in 6th grade, and his dad they were from Michigan. And his dad went to Oakland. I'd never heard of it until then.
Literally.
No. Jack Golke. Getting buckets on Calipari's head.
Never forget that.
All right. Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, Hunt, your boy Pavia is back in the news.
Super.
So speaking to reporters at the 2026 NFL Combine, Pavia was being asked about his maturity, of course. And this is what he had to say. Vanderbilt head coach, Clark Lee, that's Vanderbilt's head coach, he always pressed that your frontal lobe isn't fully developed until you're 25 years old. And I just turned 24, so I've got 365 days to go. So is that the right answer to say about, maturity concerns?
Leave it. He has no maturity. I'm out on Pavia.
Out on Pavia, man?
The Heisman thing, I'm out.
I mean, hey, look, I understand what he's saying, but dude, that is just that's a podcast answer. That's something you say on a podcast. You don't say that in front of the NFL Combine where people are just going to try to nitpick you anyway.
Can I preempt take it or leave it real quick?
Yes.
I looked up the LSU basketball schedule to see who they're playing.
Yep.
On Tuesday, they play Auburn on the road. Do you know when that game starts?
It's
9
Auburn.
p.m.
What?
Is that a misprint on the site?
In Alabama. Auburn, Alabama.
So Auburn's right on the east-west time zone because in 2010, the Cam Newton game, I stayed in Opelika.
Okay.
And that was in the eastern time zone, and Auburn was in the central time zone.
So Auburn's still our time zone, though.
But there's a
9
ton
p.m.
of
's crazy.
Auburn grads, ton of Auburn grads that live in Atlanta. It's
on
right
the
there.
East Coast.
That's a 10 o'clock start time.
10 o'clock
Is that
start.
right? I have to write a story for LouisianaSports.net at 11:30 p.m. on a Tuesday?
Yeah, pretty much, man.
I may contact the authorities here, Rivers Huey and Matt Moscone, and say, can we run the press release for this? It's 11 o'clock at night. I got to go to bed.
And it's funny because that's going to probably be their best game they play, too. So the Pittsburgh Steelers home stadium is making changes. The field earned an F- grade from the players in the leaked report card this year, the one that got leaked this year. So Art Rooney said Thursday that the team is installing Tahoma 31 Bermuda, a bluegrass Bermuda mixture that is used for the Eagles and the Chicago Bears. So do the NFLPA grades actually matter? Take it or leave it.
Take it.
Got to.
Got the Saints spicing up the cafeteria.
Yeah.
You got the Steelers putting in fancy grass.
F-. Got to change that.
Dennis Allen out with his B-. Kellen Moore,
Yeah.
A-. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Yeah, I mean, you get it together, owners. I applaud the Rooneys. Got a bad grade? Fix it.
There you go. All right, so to end this one off, Lane Kiffin and LSU are looking at the 2030 class as they have offered an 8th grader, Rudard West Jr., a scholarship as the 14-year-old ran a 10.5 in the 100-meter dash. So
Jeez.
will he be the GOAT of the 2030s? Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave it.
Rudard West.
LSU offered an 8th grader when Les Miles was the coach. He was a quarterback named Zadok Dinkelman. I have no idea.
Zadok Dinkelman.
I have no idea where he ended up, but he
Wow.
was in 8th grade, and they offered him a scholarship. I think Cam Cameron offered him a scholarship. He was in 8th grade.
Hell of a name.
No idea where he ended up. He obviously wasn't a big-time quarterback.
I don't know much about Dinkelman.
Zadok Dinkelman.
But that's it for take it or leave it.
I cannot believe that hopefully LSUSports.net has a misprint on game time and they don't
9
actually play
o'clock
at 9 o'clock on Tuesday. That's absurd. 10 o'clock Eastern. Ridiculous. That's it for us. If you missed any of the show, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Musso is going to drive you home on After Further View. Have a happy and safe weekend. We're back Monday. The Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing, lifetimeroofingla.com, lifetimeroofingla.com. Their core values, customer service, quality, and integrity. And they don't compromise on that at Lifetime Roofing. You're going to get an incredible experience with Lifetime Roofing because they care. They're not just one of these roofing companies that comes in after a storm, signs as many people up as they can, throws a bunch of roofs, and heads out. These are people from the Baton Rouge area that are invested in the Baton Rouge community. And that's why they're going to take care of their customers. That's the customer service. The quality is impeccable. They're going to put together a phenomenal roof for you every single time. And they've got integrity. They're here, and they're going to take care of you the way you should be taken care of. They're not going to just put a new roof on because there's a minor issue. If there's a minor issue that needs a repair, they'll do the repair. But if you need a new roof, they can do that for you as well. They've got financing available, 0% for 18 months. And as of January 1st, they can offer a lifetime workmanship warranty. That includes materials backed by Certainteed, one of the oldest and most trusted name in materials. Check them out online at lifetimeroofingla.com. Lifetime Roofing, online at lifetimeroofingla.com.